Hello there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Urgency 5 Steps to Reclaim Harmony. I'm Melissa Meter, and I am coming to you from Northern California. I'm really excited about this class. And if you're coming from the future, welcome as well. Our circle extends way beyond space and time. So I'm really glad you're here, and I'm excited to get into this content. If you join later, you can always connect with me via email or send me any kind of, you know, questions, comments, anytime. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll just keep welcoming people if they join late. So the reason I wanted to do this class, and there's a few other free classes on here that you can find also, I'll talk a little bit more about them later, is that there's a lot of stress in the world, and there's been quite a bit of urgency around world topics, around self topics. I don't know if this is the best. Is that better? I don't know. Uh, like a minor adjustment. Um, so there's been a lot of stress around topics, and my experience is that when people start getting stressed out, it can quickly and easily go to kind of catastrophizing or having the data become global, larger than life. And if there's something that's larger in life and global, it can become personal and really start affecting our stress levels, which obviously affects our health and everything else. So I want to teach today about going from a stress response to shuttling back over to harmony so that we can learn to live in the world even when there's a lot of stress and do what we want to do with data rather than be knocked around by the waves. So that's the purpose. So let's get started. And so the first step is to recognize that we're having some sort of issue going on. And for a lot of us, we don't even realize that we have been doing stress response to everything. We think that our thinking and our attitudes towards things are just who we are, or what we think, or what we want. But there's a lot of conditioning and a lot of cultural conditioning and a lot of, for example, media mind control. We're being knocked around by the media all the time to have, uh, responses in the way that they want us to have a response. So the first thing is to get aware of our desperation, desperate feelings of, I have to do something about this, or I can't do something about this, or what am I supposed to do about this? And in general, it's something's wrong. So sometimes it's bigger doom, sometimes it's doom and gloom and something's really wrong, but sometimes it's just something is wrong and I feel bad and it feels like it's coming from the future. So I call that under voice. And it isn't really you, it's part of this whole cultural conditioning thing. So you want to recognize the voice. And the way to recognize it is to feel the desperation. That's the first thing. I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. Something's wrong. This kind of feeling, doom, catastrophizing, a belief that, so this is like getting on the first step, is that awareness. So the awareness is the main thing, that I'm in a mood of desperation or something's wrong. And I kind of put some words to it here by saying something's wrong. So the voice is what we want to hear. What is the voice saying? What is the under voice saying? Often it's saying something like, something's wrong. And then there's an impulse from that voice. It's telling me I have to do something. That's the first thing, is noticing the fixing mood, noticing that I'm trying to fix something or do something about this issue. So there's a lot of ways we've talked about this in terms of like psychology, like around being anxious or vigilant or, scanning for danger, all those kinds of things. But the part about fixing is the part we really want to stop. Okay. So in this first step, I notice I'm desperate. I notice the under voice and I notice there's an impulse to fix. Now, the response or the action for the first step is to do nothing. So I just notice. And in that move of noticing that I'm in kind of a desperate mood, that I'm in a stress position, that lets me know that I am right here, right now, able to be, and I can slow, just kind of the way I'm demonstrating slowing down my voice. I can slow, and instead of taking the next step, which is going to be kind of on the wrong path, it's going to be on the fixing path. Instead of jumping to that next thing, I'm going to stay where I am. I'm just going to stay. Okay. And so I'm not going to, I go ahead and type in questions if you have any. Or obviously later on during the replay, you can obviously leave, comments below and questions below, and I'll get to them. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to step 2. And then I'll recap kind of at the end, and then we'll have a little somatic practice to work on. So the next step, okay, so I'm on step 1 and I've stopped. I'm not moving. I'm being. I've noticed that a mood of something's wrong, and instead I'm staying. So now I want to feel that tension of not moving. I want to feel the bad feeling that I've been trying to avoid by fixing, and I want to be here in this moment. Okay. So we want to start identifying what we're experiencing. And it could be just, I'm desperate. I'm trying to fix, the things that come from step 1. I start to identify these things. And I might name the conflict. Oh, I'm upset about dot, dot, dot. Or this thing that's happening in the world is troubling me. So I'm starting to narrate or talk about the things that are making me feel like fixing or making me feel desperate. And I might say something like, in a statement, I might be like, I'm angry, or I'm scared, or I'm stuck, something like that. But I've heard the under voice. Now I'm kind of responding with the narrator's voice. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay. And this is meeting it. This is meeting the situation. So it's almost like I'm on step 2 and I'm turning back to meet myself on step 1 where I was desperate. I'm now kind of, ironically, I am starting to attend to this thing. It's just not from a fixing mood that something's wrong. It's from a real hearted place. I'm attending to myself. Okay? So it's almost like turning around, and then I'm I'm starting to notice the tension. I'm starting to notice the difficulty. And even that, I would recommend just saying, I'm tense. I'm tense. I feel tension. I feel tension. And you might even notice where you feel it. You might notice that you're hunched up, or you might notice that you're gripping your hands, or that your throat is starting to, close up, or that, you know, there's something that makes the tension kind of obvious, that is a feeling, that is sensation. For some of us who somatize a lot, we might even feel like, oh, I'm getting a headache, or oh, I'm getting a stomach ache, or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to step 3. And so I have turned around to see my desperation, and I'm owning the tension. I'm naming it. I'm giving it voice. So now I'm going to actually do some somatic work to give myself more resource in this moment. Okay. And I'm calling that one presence. That's step 3. So we've gone through desperation, tension, and now we're in presence. And this is the hump step where we're starting to turn the boat towards the right path. Okay? So the first thing I want to do is feel the ground. So if you're watching right now, and if you're coming in from the future, I want you to put your feet on the ground if you can. If not, it's okay. Um, the thing to do is to get in contact with feet, because a lot of what's going on is story, voice, tension that's coming from mind. Okay, so we're going to start to reorient to ground. But interestingly, we're going to use a somatic technique that does come from more of an etheric or out here kind of place. So, if you're just joining, we've already gone through 2 steps. We're on step 3. First step was desperation, getting aware of my fix it mood. Step 2 is beginning to feel that tension and name it. And step 3, coming into presence, we've got the feet on the ground. And so, if you were at home, I would say maybe massage your feet or something like that. Anything you want to do to get you oriented down. If that is, if you have more time, and this is what we're going to experience right now, a little somatic practice, this is what you're going to do. And if you can close your eyes, you don't have to. You can always replay this video and do the practice later. But what we do is we close the eyes, settle in. So you've got your feet and you have your seat, and the seat is also like feet. So we feel the feet on the floor and we feel the seat on the chair. And using our hands, we can even press into the quadriceps or the thighs and just like those are feet. My hands are now feet. And I'm breathing. And drop the shoulders. And you can let go of your hands and just sort of let your arms be relaxed. And imagine or allow your breath to travel all the way down as you inhale, all the way down into your seat and your feet. So this is like etheric and air energy entering and going into the ground, into your seat. And another breath or two. Really emphasize the exhale after you have felt the breath move down into your feet. And most of us, after about 3 breaths, are going to start feeling presence. We're going to just be dropping into body. It's what I did before I got on this live stream. I just did some breathing and grounding. Okay, let's do one more breath here. Okay. And then just take a moment if you're returning. And I see there are a few people here. So if there's any questions you have, I'm going to just say a few more things. If you type that in, go for it. Um, the other thing to do, say you're not going to close your eyes and massage your feet or something like that. You're in a more of a active part of your day, like you're at work or you're in the car or something like that. You're going to do what we learn a little bit about in the intuition class that's on here that's free, is you're going to look around. You're just going to say, I'm in my room. I'm in my office. I'm in the car. So that's kind of the statement for this one. And you can even do that before you get into the presence practice. I'm going to do my presence practice. I'm going to breathe into my feet. I'm going to ground. giving yourself some of those statements that are coming from the present moment. So presence tells you how to get there, present moment. And the narrator who was kind of naming the issue, naming the feeling, naming the tension, naming the emotion is now naming presence, naming where I am, what I'm at work. I'm at work. I'm in my office and just kind of seeing and stating the fact. Incredibly grounding. I'm in California. I'm in 2024, whatever year you're in, if you're coming from the future. So, let's see if people are still arriving. Make sure to go back and watch the first couple, parts of the first couple steps if you're coming in late, because it's a little bit of a setup. But hopefully I'll keep recapping a little bit. So we went from step 1, we're on the bottom rung. We notice we have a fixing impulse. Step 2, we're naming the tension or emotion. Step 3, we're getting present. And that's where we're using our somatic awareness tool, whatever it is, whatever you've got. It might be, even kind of like thumping, rolling your shoulders, doing a little movement, taking a deep breath. Okay. So now this is where the magic really starts. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. This is a mate latte. Great, great tea. Okay, so this is where the magic really starts. We start with what I call alignment. So now we are already resonating with the earth. Did you know that the human body naturally resonates with the earth? When we get off kilter, we tend to go out of resonance with the earth. So doing some breathing and grounding is going to bring us back into resonance with the earth. That is the mood of alignment. And alignment, this is step 4. So now we've stepped onto the next part, alignment. This is about stalking, really. It's about stalking and focusing and attitude. I'm now becoming a active participant in this thing, whatever's going on. And the statement I have here for that is, I'm supposed to be here now. This is supposed to be happening. Whatever's going on right now that I've been misaligned with, out of resonance with, not liking, thinking I need to fix, I'm now in alignment. I'm coming into alignment, and I'm going to say, I'm supposed to be here right now. Okay. And so that means I am going to do the work of understanding what is actually happening in this present moment. I'm going to start to go, okay, I'm aligning with this moment. What actually is it? And I might work on what the symbolism is. A lot of this stuff, I go deeply into these topics in my podcast. There's all the links are on my about page in the link tree. But I'm starting to decode and work with the symbols and the patterns. But maybe I'm still feeling a lot of tension, and so I don't want to be, jumping into my mind. Maybe I want to simply say, I'm supposed to be here right now. This isn't wrong. This isn't a mistake. We're not in some dystopian, nihilistic scape. We are present. Okay. So I'm going to say, I'm supposed to be here, and I'm going to do what it takes to work with my energy right now, my body. Maybe the capacity has been too much. And so I don't have enough capacity for what's going on right now. So maybe I'm going to remove myself from a situation, or social media. For a lot of us, that just means coming out of social media, scrolling, doom scrolling. I'm aligning, but I'm attending to myself. I'm not going to continually activate my pain body, continually, shove data down my throat about what's going on in my life. Even if it's something really personal, I'm going to find a way to bring more comfort even pleasure, distraction is fine. A lot of the stuff you find in the coping class, Coping Better. That's the other free class that came before this one. So I'm going to start attending to myself and aligning. So to align with now, I have to do self-care. Okay. I'm right where I'm meant to be to meet this challenge. Malidoma Patrice Sommet, one of my all-time heroes, magical creature. He passed on during COVID. Um, just uh, a um, a sage. He was a sage, and he said something that I've quoted before. Something like, "The ancestors brought me to this place to meet this challenge." Something like that. This isn't a mistake. I'm here. I'm supposed to be here, and I've got the tools. And if you've listened to any of my episodes or, taken any of my courses, you know about the banana eating dragon. But the basic idea of that is that the hero is on a journey, going through a maze. She knows there's a dragon ahead. She knows there's, danger. But she starts to believe in her alignment with the now, and she starts to trust her path. And she starts to trust that whatever she needs will be there for her in terms of consciousness, because consciousness comes from getting resonance in body and soma. Um, so she turns the corner. All she's got in her pocket, all she brought with her was this banana in case she needed a snack. She turns the corner, and lo and behold, there's a banana eating dragon. And she offers the banana to the dragon. The dragon lets her pass. Okay. She had it all along. She had what she needed. Who would have ever thought that to meet a major challenge, all you would need was a banana? So bananas also happens to be one of the main mascots of my work for some reason, but it comes up quite a bit in different ways. Um, I won't get into that. Right? There's a time banana, there's a psychedelic banana, and now there's a banana eating dragon. Okay. So transitioning to step 4 will just remind us that we're aligning with the now. We have been getting present through the somatic work, whatever somatic work we have at our fingertips in the moment. That could just be breathing. We have maybe felt the emotional issue, hopefully traveled through the emotion to the actual sensation. So if it's anger, where's the tension in my body? And I'm aware of all this because I've had some doomy desperation, some catastrophizing, some fix it energy. Okay. No questions still. Um, Last step here is what I'm calling purpose. Some of you probably already kind of know what that is about, but it's about path and right action. So the statement I have here for step 5 is yes. Okay, I'm taking the call. And still, we might be struggling with capacity. So this is about making a move. This is about action, but the move might be to go lie on the floor and take 100 belly breaths. Okay. So that's the yes to the moment. Okay. Now, as you do that, the magic that I'm suggesting, and if you take the intuition class, you're going to get more about this. You will start to have the path opening up, the data opening up, the way forward opening up, because it's going to bubble up from your meeting. Remember, we turned back to look at the self that was struggling and include that and hold it. We're going to start having very much clear data bubbling up from taking the first right action we can. So if we're in the next place, or if we want something a little more active, like I'm getting off scrolling, I'm not going to do that anymore. Or I'm collecting the data and I'm really starting to study and deeply get into the history and the archaeology of a phenomena, or my personal lineage shadow, and I'm working with that. Then I might have some real, action to take. the interim between those kinds of two things, like breathing and building capacity, self-care, is to interrupt anything that's going on that's making you feel stuck. That might be just changing rooms, that might be taking a walk. But this bubbling up intuition from self-care and getting out of mind and dropping into body, again, watch the intuition class, is going to start giving you the real guidance. That's real guidance. That's real what to do, how to do it is coming from there. Okay. And the last part of this is to, what I'm going to suggest, because this is what I do as a archetypal somatics coach trainer, course creator, is to do somatic shadow integration practices. I cannot think of another modern way of coping better with with whatever's going on. It is a better tool for coping. So watch the Coping Better class too, but find the resources, find the places, find the tools. Yoga, I talk about that quite a bit because it's foundational somatics. It's the first somatics. It's an incredibly developed medicinal system for attending to not just your body, not just your health, not just your personal life, but the whole world. And yoga is not just doing a bunch of poses. It's much, much more. And of course, I have tons of free resources. My podcast, there's links here. You can find all of that. And definitely watch the 2 other free classes here. So, final recap coming up. Is there anything that's bubbling up out there in the ethers from anybody who's watching this live that you want me to comment on before I do the recap? If you have a question, a lot of other people might have a question, by the way. It's very magic that way. And it might even be a person from the future that has that question that they want answered. Sometimes I'm good at psychically just hearing you. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, if you don't have any experience with shadow work at all, how to learn what it is, I would suggest well, I do have a couple podcast episodes totally about this. I've got one called Shadow Work and I've got one called Shadow Stalking, I think. But this is very well developed data that's in the world right now. So you can find out about shadow work from so many different sources. It's, Jungians are pretty developed with that stuff. Okay. Same thing with somatics. It's a long history. Yoga is my favorite version of somatics, trauma informed things, that kind of stuff. Okay. That was the question that came from the ethers. So to recap, what are we doing? We're looking for harmony. We're looking for reclaiming harmony. That's resonance, right? That's resonating with what's going on right now, coming into grounded, being in the present moment, being here now. And I am saying yes to it. I'm agreeing that this is the reality that is here right now and that's supposed to be here. I'm not doing some, paranoid conspiracy heavy trip that something's wrong. Okay. And my work is to get present and in any way that I can get present so that I can start having that intuitive bubbling up next right action. And that is my final recap. I'm saying yes to everybody out there. I'm really appreciative that people came to watch this live. And I'm not sure if I'll be back right away next month. It's a holiday month, but I will be back in the future. Keep liking and subscribing and liking all the videos, and you can always send me email, connect with me on all my media things. Watch those other 2 free classes. Okay. Anything else before we go? Many blessings. See you next time.